Brand new Final Faction toys have been stocked at Dollar Tree. Earlier this year, I reviewed Series 2A. On social media, Final Faction refers to some of these figures as Series 2B, but on the Dollar Tree website, some of them are listed as Series 3 and 3B. So for general purposes, I'm just going to call these the Spring 2022 releases. And yes, these are available through the Dollar Tree website, but the catch is you have to buy full case packs. So in a full case, I believe there's 24 pieces. Depending on what's in the case, you're going to get 2, 3, maybe 4 multiples of each item. So that's an option if you want to buy full cases, split it between friends, army build, customize, or here's a crazy idea, buy them and hand them out to kids as party favors, Halloween treats, or things like that. Final Faction also revealed that these will be available at Poundland in the UK. So if you're in the UK and you're interested in finding these, check your local Poundland. First up for Alpha Team 1, we have Underwater Specialist Riptide. Riptide's bio card tells us that he's a skilled combat and rescue diver that hails from New England, a local boy. When he's not fishing or indulging in canned tuna, he spends his free time helping the local wildlife. Riptide looking very much like a grizzled Navy man. That white hair, mustache. He's got some jets molded onto his legs. He's got some harpoon launchers on his arms that are removable. And the harpoons do come out. They're not spring-loaded, they're just set in there. He's got goggles and an underwater breathing apparatus that fit over his head and peg into his chest. And I believe these dots on the chest and the 2 wrists are glow in the dark. He gives me sort of a Centurion's vibe, like a Max Ray. Our next Alpha Team member is Amari, Combat Specialist. Her bio tells us that she's from New York City. She uses her size and strength in battle and fights for her family, proudly wearing her father's Air Force bomber jacket. Amari's got a very nice, interesting sculpt. And her weapon of choice is her modified baseball bat, Slugger. So Amari likes to get up close and personal and do some damage. Taking a page from Negan from The Walking Dead with that. Amari is also significantly taller than her fellow Alpha Team members. So definitely giving me like an Amazon warrior vibe. Maybe a Grace Jones type look, or one of the Dora Milaje from Wakanda. Next up is the P-131 automated drone. An army builder for Alpha Team. The read-up tells us that these were developed by Boyd, who was the boy in the cartoon that pilots the ACRM. These are used extensively in combat and rescue operations where Alpha Team could be outnumbered. The body of the P-131 has this nice goldish metallic wash on him. And the design of this figure definitely reminds me of one of the Batloids from Robotech, the Macross saga. It's interesting because in the first wave of Final Faction, we had the ACRM mech suit and the Karn Synthoid. And both of these figures remind me of Robotech, the New Generation, aka Mospeda. This guy to me looks like the Cyclone armor, and the Synthoid definitely has a Invid Shock Trooper vibe to him. So I'm wondering if someone on the Final Faction design team is a fan of Robotech. We also have some new artillery for Alpha Team 1 in the form of the X4 turret, perimeter defense. So another item that you can buy multiples for. The legs on the turret are all movable up and down, so you can put them on uneven terrain and position them for stability. And this is one of several releases in this wave that has spring-loaded missiles. And these are not the ball and socket pressure push missiles that you see in modern toys. This is old-fashioned metal springs in there. The first of 3 new Alpha Team weapons packs is the Thunderbolt. And this pack consists of 2 Stinger launches, surface-to-air missiles, and 2 Cyclone airfoils. And the illustration on the back shows that it can be attached to the P-131. This Thunderbolt weapons pack does require some assembly, as you have to assemble the posts on the missile launchers as well as the foils. So if you're giving this to a child, they may need some help putting it together, as there are no instructions. But it's pretty simple, it's intuitive. Just look at the picture and you can figure it out. The missile launchers attached to the shoulders of the mech. They can spin around and they're just peg and hold. There's nothing really attaching them. And this is very hard plastic, so you're not going to get a lot of movement up and down, because once this peg is in here, this hard plastic doesn't want to give. So if you try to move that, you may break it. The foil wings, on the other hand, are made to move in and out and around. So you can fold them in back, bring them out, spin them. And the way they've constructed these, there's a little like a pin and a hole system here. So these work pretty well. You can also attach the Thunderbolt system to Churro, so he can rain down doggy death on the enemy. And that weapon system on the ACRM mech. So a great idea, making all these accessories interchangeable between all the different figures. Tons of play and customizing options. The Scope Long Range Weapons Pack. 4 rifles and a backpack. The 4 rifles are the Hammerdown LAR-50, Spartan XP-109, Malcolm HZ-38, and the Busy Bee KL-308. Each have a different capability. So really nice level of detail, even naming all the different weapons in these packs. And as you can see, this is for use with scope, although you can put these on any of the figures. Here's the Hammerdown Sniper Rifle. The Spartan Battle Rifle, can alternate between automatic and single shot. The Malcolm, which is a high caliber mid-range rifle. And the Busy Bee that fires 400 plasma rounds per second. The H-Pack backpack has this big opening in the back. And here's where I think maybe some corners were cut. This backpack can accommodate 1 weapon at a time in that slot. So you have 4 rifles, but the backpack can only hold 1. I would have liked to have seen maybe a peg and hole system incorporated here, where you'd have a peg on the backpack or in a hole in the rifle, or maybe vice versa, where you could peg the different rifles to the backpack and your character could hold more than 1 weapon. So as it is, this backpack only holds the 1 of your choice. Here's Scope with the backpack and 1 of the weapons, and I've distributed the other weapons to other members of the team. The last Alpha Team 1 weapons pack is Cyber Arms. On the back of the package, it's shown on Torn, but I think you could put it on most any figure. This includes Cyber, the cybernetic harness that connects to users via neural network. Grappler, multi-purpose grappling arms. Death's Kiss, high-powered psionic scimitar. When's the last time you saw a children's toy named Death's Kiss? Cleaver, double-edged axe. Emancipator, a deadly blade with diamond-edged teeth. And Talon, swift and silent, a sharp and penetrating weapon. Cyber Arms is designed to do maximum damage. Lots of parts to assemble with Cyber Arms, and no instructions. So you really have to look at the picture carefully and sort of figure it out intuitively. So you have 2 sets of these pieces to assemble for each side. And through trial and error, I figured out the proper way to do it. On this piece here, there is 1 side of the hole that's raised and another one that has a recess in it. So you want to push this pin through the raised side so it comes out and grips the recessed side on the other side, like so. I tried to do it the other way first and then pull it back out, and this pin got pinched a little bit too much and the arm was very loose. So this is my second attempt at assembling one of these without screwing it up. Once you have these assembled, they clip into the backpack via a ball and socket, which pushes in quite easily. The two claw attachments are just post and hole on either side, and this is a very hard plastic, so you have to kind of twist it in via a corkscrew motion to get it in there. The rest of the attachments fit on either side of the claws via a post and hole, and it doesn't really matter what you put where, they are all interchangeable. And then you can flip them back and then just flip them out depending on what weapon you want the character to use. So this is like a Swiss Army knife type of thing. And here is what your assembled cyber arms should look like. So you have movement at that ball joint, a little bit of movement, and you can spin these 360 on either side. And of course the weapons will flip in and out. Here's the cyber arm pack on Torn, doing his best Dr. Octopus impression. Our first new Karn figure is Crepitus, the Bounty Hunter. You always have to have a bounty hunter, right? Crepitus is a relentless bounty hunter. He is tasked with eliminating loose ends for the Karn. Crepitus has no sympathy for his targets. He is only focused on the task at hand. Crepitus is molded in a light gray, and he's got some gold highlights on his arms, face, and head, which gives him a very different look than the other Karn. He's got two blades that attach to his forearms and flip out. So this is the same accessory gimmick we saw on the Torn figure. He also comes with a very small, sort of a companion bug that can peg onto his shoulder. Interesting to note that he is the only Karn with what seems to be hair, if you can call it hair. He's got sort of these Predator-style dreadlocks coming down off one side of his face. He is a very creepy-looking figure. Karn General Diablo. We finally get a leader figure for the Karn. Queen Malara's most trusted general, Diablo is a ruthless mastermind who never fails. I've seen some people refer to this guy as Diablo, and when you see these letters together and you're talking about a villain figure, that's kind of where your mind goes. You want to say Diablo, but no, it is Diablo. Short for diabolical, maybe? Diablo's torso and head are molded in this very light red, almost pink color, with some whitewash, some beige on his chest, and he does have red painted eyes. His limbs are molded in a darker red, with a little bit of brown on the arms. And while he has peg holes on his forearms and his back to accommodate different weapons packs, he does not come with any accessories. There are several new drones for the Karn. The first is Perimeter Defense Huntress. Huntress is an agile, scurrying turret that pins down enemies before striking brutally. Huntress is a very arachnid or crustacean-looking creature. Neon green eyes painted. No articulation other than the turret, which is spring-loaded, as was the Alpha Team turret. So these springs aren't very powerful so far. Not powerful enough to take down another figure. Perimeter Defense Decimator. A defensive turret that is as strong as a rhino. Decimator is a living weapon. Decimator has 3 limbs that are on ball joints, and the 2 front limbs easily pop out and pop in. So if you move him too much, his limb's going to pop out. You can call that battle damage. And his head spins 360, very loose. Kind of getting a Starship Troopers vibe from these Karn drones. Spring-loaded missile. Hey, that one worked. Our last Karn drone pack is the Perimeter Defense Crawler. Small in stature but deadly in numbers, crawlers can quickly swarm their enemies. There are 2 crawlers in each pack, so very easy to army build with these. You're getting 2 for the price of 1, although they are small. They have 6 articulated limbs, 4 legs, and these 2 pincers, and a nice gold wash on their shells with some red on the eyes, or whatever those are supposed to be. The first of 3 weapons packs for the Karn is the Drone Scourge, a 3-piece pack containing the Sit-In, a dual-pronged weapon, the Luminar, a handheld energy weapon, and the Druxel, which is a back-mounted cannon. And these are shown to attach to the drone figure. Here's the Scourge pack attached to the drone. So a couple of things with this. The energy weapon is kind of floppy in his hands. It would have been good to put maybe a clip at the end of this to clip onto his forearm, or maybe a peg to peg in that peg hole that already exists in the forearm. So that's a bit floppy. The other problem I had was that I could not at first get the backpack to peg into the back of the figure. This is a very flexible plastic on the backpack, and the hole was just a little bit too small to accommodate the peg, and it was bending as I was trying to put it in. So my 2 choices would have been either to shave down the peg or make the hole a little bit bigger, which is what I actually did. I got a small drill bit and just dremeled out maybe a 1/2 millimeter in that hole, and now it fits perfectly fine. And the bladed weapon can fit in the hand, or it also has a peg to fit on the forearm. And again, that's a very, very tight fit. And since General Diablo did not come with any weapons, you can use these packs to give him some firepower as well. The Brute Striker pack, again consisting of 3 pieces. The Glaven, a brutal instrument of destruction. It's like a giant warhammer. The Strather, a shield. And the Drathos, which is the backpack weapon. Drathos attacks with its dual heads, cutting any surface with its razor-sharp, jagged teeth. Everything fitting on the Brute figure. Again, the same problem we saw in the last pack, where this is very loose in the figure's hand. This could have used some extra support on that upper arm to attach it. But this giant hammer is pretty impressive. Our last Karn accessory pack, I think, is the most interesting. It's the Synthoid Evolution. This includes the Azora, a tentacled nightmare, Sitagoth, a plasmoid cannon, and Witherm, dragon-like wings. The Evolution pack gives the Synthoid a very different look. The plasma cannon and tentacle replace both the arms, and the wings are actually 2 pieces. So there's a post on these pieces that fits through the back of the wing and attaches it to the figure. So you can fold these wings down and up. Nice paint on the end of the cannon. And you can use that tentacle to grasp the enemy. The last release we have to look at is the Karn Rumbler vehicle, along with the weapons and armor pack for the vehicle. And the size of these boxes is not indicative of how big this thing is when it's assembled, as you'll see. Both the Rumbler and the weapons pack do come with assembly instructions, as did the Alpha Team ATV. The Rumbler comes in 5 pieces. So you have the main body, the 2 large wheels, and another piece that attaches to the back with the smaller wheel. So this is basically a chariot, sort of a techno-organic chariot. It rolls pretty well on those big wheels, not very smoothly, but good enough. The accessory pack consists of 2 giant pincers and a scorpion-like tail. The 2 pincers merely push into the front of the Rumbler, and you want to use a corkscrew motion to get them all the way in. You can see where the post is at the end of the pincer. So you want to push it in far enough where this raised part is flush against the body of the Rumbler. The scorpion tail has a post at the end of it, and it just fits in the hole in the back of the vehicle, like so. It does not fit in snugly, so it's a little bit loose in there. But that is the assembled vehicle. Here is General Diablo seated in the vehicle. And as you can see, that scorpion tail is offset a bit to the side, so it does not obscure the vision of the driver. As we can see on the back of these cards, there is more coming for Final Faction at some point. We have 6 new weapons packs for Alpha Team 1 that haven't been released yet. They have shown pictures of these on social media, so we know what most of these are. So there is more new Final Faction coming. There is also a comic book that's been released that I have not found yet, but I am on the lookout for it. And that's it for my look at the spring releases of Final Faction. It's a really nice lineup of figures, vehicles, weapons, very nice assortment of toys. Dollar Tree has raised the price on these recently to $1.25. Still a bargain price these days for action figures. I think I can absorb that 25-cent increase. Thanks for taking a look at these Final Faction toys with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.